What's your dream TV? Mine is the star of today's video, the LG G4 at 97 inches. Up next.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me. Ultra large TVs are all the rage these days. 85 once was the giant size that many of us could never dream of purchasing. Now they go well beyond 100 inches. Today we check out the 97-inch LG G4, which in my opinion is the best large TV in the world. Now, the LG G4 was already my favorite TV of 2024, and it was already the largest consumer OLED on the market at 83 inches. But to experience it at 97 inches is absolutely amazing. The TV is absolutely gorgeous. Without further ado, let's check out the LG G4 OLED at 97 inches. Thank you so much for watching. All right, guys, let's do it. Value Electronics LG G4 97 inch. Let's check out the design. We're here in their Scarsdale showroom. Absolutely stunning display. And you'll see right to the right side of it is a 77-inch S95D. It looks like a 55-inch TV compared to this monster, which is also about 8 inches behind the S95D. And it looks unbelievable. The wall mount comes with the 97-inch LG G4, and it's gapless. Same thickness all the way around. Very small silver bezel, which you'll see literally disappears throughout the footage. The LG G4 at 97 inches is a replacement for the LG G2 at 97 inches. Now forgive the glare to have windows behind me. The rest of the video will pretty much be shot in a dark room. Absolutely stunning. As I mentioned, this is the replacement for the LG G2 at 97 inches, only their second large OLED that they've ever manufactured, other than the 88-inch Z series, which they started with the Z9, the ZX, and then the Z2 being 88 inches. Only manufacturer around doing OLEDs this large. Also, the largest consumer OLEDs at 83 inches. Now, the LG G4 has released at $20,000, which is actually quite a bit less than the G2 released a few years ago. The G2 also dropped in price to about $15,000. Now, many people will say that's very expensive. Keep in mind that the LG C9 at 77 inches, or I should say the C8 at 77 inches a number of years ago was $15,000. So considering the TV you're getting, and this is a TV for life, OLED this big, the price is reasonable, if I can actually say that. But it does something and has a picture quality that no other large TV out there has. Considering other large TVs aren't mini LEDs or LEDs, as beautiful and bright as they are, they cannot hold a candle to the micro contrast of an LG OLED, especially a G4 with the Alpha 11 processor. The G4 is also very bright, especially at this size. Though it lacks the MLA of the smaller G4s, it's not something that I really felt that I missed. I had an 83-inch G4 over to the right side of the store, and while it does appear brighter, the screen size more than makes up for it. And also when it comes to the 97-inch versions of these TVs, they do not release them every year. So I'm fairly confident you're not going to see a 97-inch G5. You will most likely see a new Z series, as last year's Z3 only released at 77 inches. So I'm hoping for a Z5 88-inch 8K for next year, and then you'll see the overlap perhaps with a G6 of the following year at 97 inches. This is a gorgeous TV, and even though it doesn't have the MLA, what that means to me is it's not trying to get overly bright, meaning it keeps all of its color. No loss of color luminance trying to be brighter or have extra HDR impact. It is a very rich, beautiful image. Super detailed. Again, 4K, if you're afraid it's going to look soft over 85 inches, that's where OLED micro contrast comes in. That detail is not just the black level around the image or in the black bars, it is within material, within hair, within skin, within the image. Special shout out to the one and only Jennifer Gala and her second channel, HDR Super Channel. All of the material you're seeing within this video is from those two channels. Check the description below for links to her channels and consider becoming a Patreon to her channel where you can download these demos in Dolby Vision and in Dolby Atmos. Thank you so much, Jen. Amazing, gorgeous content going from 1,000 nits up to 10,000 nits. Absolutely stunning. Now, when the Gallery series was released a few years ago, most of you did not like the silver bezel. I am not a huge fan of it. It does look very premium, probably why it's there. I don't find it distracting at all, and even in these more well-lit shots, you can't really see it, but if it does trouble you, it's not something you're gonna like. The thickness, again, is the same from top to bottom. The wall mount goes inside the TV, lays completely flush. And with a TV this big, coming out from the wall with an extra mount would be noticeable. Very nice to have this very flush and flat against the wall. Aesthetically, the TV is gorgeous, very high-end, also with improved sound. The 97-inch G4 is rocking 4.2 channel 60-watt system, Dolby Atmos support, and virtual 11.1.2 upmix. Now, if you've thought that this is just another repackaged G2, you are mistaken, as we do have the new menu system, new operating system, new Alpha 11 processor with AI upscaling. We also have 144 Hertz NVIDIA variable refresh rate, as well as AMD Freesync. Those things to me are worth the money being a gamer, but gaming on this display, though you're not going to see it in this video because I am going to come back and do a dedicated gaming video with my PC for this G4, is amazing. So for me, it is worth the money from last year's or a couple years ago's G2 at 97 inches. Those differences, especially the processing, especially at this size, that upscaling is necessary. Now, where LG strikes the perfect balance, as you saw me going through the presets, and I'll go through them again in a few minutes, is while they are very accurate out of the box using 3D LUTs, they also have flexibility of image. You can make the G series, we'll just say the G4, look very saturated, very poppy, and then swing it back being very accurate. They're really the only in the business that can be that accurate and that vibrant. They don't have to adhere to either. They can rock both. And then being a gaming display for both console and PC gaming at this size is ridiculous. With such a low input lag that rivals monitors at 97 inches is absurd. Now, that said, also the game mode, what I love about the OLEDs, doesn't really lose picture quality at all. It doesn't look different in terms of losing quality. As we go through the presets, you can see the flexibility of image to where even the game mode doesn't lose quality. You're not worried about a backlight. You're not worried about disabling local dimming for response time or input lag. You can see where the presets change the image quite a bit, and then the tone mapping is excellent and also can be customizable. Now, we'll always hear, does it have that three-dimensionality? Absolutely. And there wasn't one moment when I spent time with the G4 at 97 inches where I felt that it wasn't bright enough. And I've spent time with every size G4 since it launched, since I saw it at CES. And if I didn't have them side by side, it wouldn't be something that I would notice. Now, I'm going to say the G4 is brighter at the smaller sizes, having micro lens array. But as I mentioned before, the screen size alone more than makes up for it. I would take the 97 inch any day of the week over any quantum dot OLED or any 83 inch OLED. Same goes for any mini LED, whether it's 100 inch, 110, 115, as the picture quality is going to suffer at those sizes and the processing is not going to go with it. What you have here is the top of the line processing from LG at this massive size. Never did I feel that the image looked soft, and I am very close to this TV. I also saw no issues with screen uniformity. Now, is everything perfect? Obviously, there are some shortcomings. Number one being the price. But keep in mind, TV prices continue to fall each and every year. They're the only real home theater equipment that's expected to drop 50% or 30% year after year. For what you're getting, in my opinion, this is worth the money, especially considering how expensive TVs were, and also speakers and amplifiers and projectors are still crazy expensive, but TVs, as I mentioned, are expected to drop. This TV is worth this price considering what it is, in my humble opinion, how high-end and the picture quality that will beat everything and anything for years to come. The only TVs, in my opinion, that can hold a candle to this TV would be a micro LED at about $140,000 for a TV about the same size. And then again, that's still not an OLED. They still have their weaknesses as well. Also, the G4 released very late in the year. It was expected earlier in the summer. Is that big a deal? It would be if there was going to be a G5 at 97 inches. I'm fairly certain there won't be. So releasing it later in the year, having it land here in October versus July is an annoyance, but not really that big a deal. Now, the big drawback for many of you, and it was for me before I actually saw the 97-inch G4, is lack of micro lens array, which is on the other G series. I love it. I love the HDR pop that it offers, to the point I was very disappointed that the G4 at 97 inches didn't have it, until I spent about 3 hours with it. Now, you're only seeing Jen's footage. I did watch several different movies and did try some games. I did not notice that it was gone without the other G4 next to me. I never thought it needed that brightness. More importantly, as we've mentioned, at times the MLA G4 can lose some color luminance going too bright. Not the case here. The color is always present, always very rich, always very vibrant. So while it's a disadvantage for not having it, it's not something that I missed. It's something that if I had the money, I would actually still buy. I don't, but that wouldn't keep me from purchasing it. Now, a very special shout out to Value Electronics. Shout out to Robert, Wendy, and Leanne. for supplying the LG G4 and having me in the store. Please consider making your next AV purchase through them. Check the description below for all their information. Let them know that I sent you. They will take great care of you. Absolute joy to be able to shoot the LG G4 97. I've shot all the high-end LG displays at Robert and Wendy's store. The Z series from the very beginning was one of the first TVs that I shot. But it's absolutely gorgeous. You can tell by the image quality. As I mentioned, the screen uniformity is very good for TV so large. I didn't notice any issues at all. But you can see why the demo material, where the light stays, there isn't any blooming, obviously. It's an OLED. It's got that pixel control. However, it just handles everything beautifully. Looks natural, yet vibrant, yet saturated, yet it pops. Never looks dull. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Please consider liking and subscribing. Take care. Love you guys.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.